Another gorgeous morning in the Northeast. It's fall, so our garden season is coming to an end, but still time, still beautiful things on the vines. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're going to pick some of those beautiful ripe tomatoes that we have, and then we're going to turn those into a really nice pasta sauce. So let's go see what we have. So I had the coffee brewing this morning, got my coffee out into the garden. Let's see what we have on our tomato vines. That looks nice. These guys are coming along. They're not quite ready yet. Got some pruning to do. Trimming out some of this decaying, dead stuff. That looks good. The target of what we're really looking for is all these grape tomatoes. These little grape tomatoes make a great pasta sauce. So I have yellow ones, and we have some red ones in there. Then we'll grab some herbs. So as I'm in the tomatoes, picking my tomatoes, I'm also doing a lot of pruning. Cutting out any old dead leaves. I'm trimming back the plants. The more pruning you do on your plants, the more growth you can actually get. And this summer we've had tremendous production out of our tomato plants. But again, it's all about just, the joy of doing this stuff and the result of the food that you're able to put on the table. I mean, these tomatoes make great tomato salad, tomato sauce, bruschetta. You can use them for just about anything. So we've got a couple of varieties of grape tomatoes. We got some heirloom tomatoes, beefsteaks. We've got a nice medium-sized red tomato in there. I like using heirlooms to capture some color on the table and some different shapes. It's pretty interesting, but all the flavors are amazing and all slightly different as you start to really try these. So I'm going to continue pruning back and continue harvesting some of our ripe tomatoes, and then we'll get on to our sauce. Alright, so we've got our tomatoes picked for today. Still have more in the house. We're going to use those. Probably use a couple of those big ones because I have plenty of big ones. Now I'm going to look at some of my basil. We're going to grab some basil for our sauce, and maybe a little bit of thyme or rosemary. I'm not quite sure yet. We'll have to figure out exactly what we want. Lettuce is looking great. Maybe I'll make a nice salad tonight. Okay, so they're boiling, and what we're waiting to do is have that water really boiling, and ultimately the skins will split, making them easier to peel. If you look closely, you can see the skin starting to peel. And so after we boil the tomatoes, we boil them to the point where the skin splits, which is going to make it easier to peel. We ice them so that we can handle them and also aid in the peeling process. There's our first batch already peeled. Skins. Okay, so we have our tomatoes all peeled. Next step will be to run them through the food processor. Then we're gonna jar them for a little bit and get ready to make our sauce a little bit later today because we are having pasta dinner tonight. And as we get to those next few steps, I'll fire the camera back up and we'll see what we got. Alright, let's get some of these tomatoes in our food processor. Alright, and get our lid on. going to take that, I'm going to jar it for now. Let's clean that grind button up. Now you notice we have red grape tomatoes and we have some yellow grape tomatoes. For our sauce, we like using the combination of both the reds and the yellows. It gives a really interesting flavor, something different. The reds are definitely have a stronger flavor than the yellows, but when you put it together in the sauce together, that flavor becomes incredible. I like to leave some lumpiness in there. Not trying to turn it into water. And that's perfect. Now we'll add our basil and parsley, our garlic and butter and all that type of stuff, a little bit of tomato paste when we go to the next step, which is to turn it into a full-on sauce for our pasta. Alright, so we have some chopped garlic and chopped onions and a little bit of olive oil. Gonna heat our pot, put those in. Got our fresh basil, parsley, our sauce mix, all of our nice beautiful tomatoes ready to go in. You heat it up. Probably called gravy in some parts of the world, depending on your nationality, heritage. Still sauce to me. That garlic smells great. There goes our grinded up tomatoes. Love the smell of tomatoes. Still smell the basil and the parsley across the kitchen. The kitchen is smelling incredible right now. Alright, to add a little body to the sauce, we're going to put some tomato paste in. Not much.
You add this to get a consistency that you like.
Oh.
We're going to stir that up.
Measure off, baby.
We're going to test. How's it taste?
It's not enough.
You know what's weird? She's not jumping up.
Still
here
adding
around.
seasonings. And while that's happening, yep, we got a nice Margot ready to go. Because we have to have a glass of wine while we are cooking.
So once it's boiling, you have to actually take it off the heat, or else It's all going to stick to the bottom of the pot. And then you can simmer it for as long as you want. I think the longer the better. But you
Just
can
get all
also
those flavors blended up
Stir
together.
it out.
you could also get a good result by simmering it for at least an hour and a half. And you should be just
Uncovered?
fine.
Stir it.
If it's watery, you do it uncovered. If it's not watery, like this one's not watery, so I'm going to cover it because I want it to hold that consistency.
How often
Well,
do you
this is going to
stir it?
taste awesome.
And you gotta make sure to stir it once in a while to unstick everything off of the bottom of the pot.
Here we go with our sauce on our pasta. Let's add a little cheese. Sauce, gravy, wherever you come from. This is going to be amazing.
You should say gravy. Since you've been